Luca Nation, ladies and gentlemen of Luca Nation community, this is going to be a fun episode. So we had Blake Jamieson on. About 200 episodes later, here we are on episode, was it 278?
More. He was 35 back in August.
Wow. He was episode 35 back in August, one of our first guests on the show. And here we are 6-7 months later, having Blake back on. And you're going to want to stick around and listen to this episode because there's some exciting stuff that Topps is doing with their artists, tying in NFTs. And it's just, I mean, Blake said it. It's Project 2020 on steroids. So, Blake, welcome back to the show. We're really, really happy to have you back.
Thanks. Yeah. So what episode is this one?
This is 277, I believe. Yep, 277.
Wow. That's amazing, guys.
Congratulations. Yeah, every day.
That's a lot of content.
Every day. Like you. We took a lot. Yeah. Listen, we're going to get through it. We took a lot of lessons from episode 35. I'll get into every one of them. But, you know, I have to do this. So we're expanding our YouTube audience, and we're now getting thousands of people to listen to our episodes on YouTube. So Blake has got a kick-ass hat on, and I have it's sort of Jersey Shore. I don't know what exactly we call this, alt-right. Yeah. I don't know what kind of haircut.
It's the Mike the Situation haircut.
But Andrew, you need to turn your head a little bit for me. What is the other way? The other way. Yeah. What is that a man bun, or were you sleeping? Like, what do we got going on over there?
So let me tell you. So I went to a barbershop.
What do you got? No. Turn again. Let the YouTube audience see this. It's luscious. What is? Come on, turn. Come on.
Do you see how I'm glowing right here?
I'm jealous you guys have hair at all. I got nothing to work with. So.
Well, I went to a barbershop, Cage, if you would let me respond. I went to a barbershop. They cut my hair, and then I was like, "Can you guys, do the whole shave thing?" And they put the wet towel on my face. Can I talk? And I, they put the warm towel on your face. They shave you, and I was laying down, so it's like it obviously got a little bit disheveled. But I like the haircut a lot.
It's not disheveled. There's something going on in the back here. You're refusing to turn. So it's like a man bun. You got it's like a little poof. You look like it's got like
I obviously don't have a man bun. This is a very classic haircut.
Dude, I'm not messing around. And poor Blake, he's like, this is what I signed on for. You got something. I don't know what's going on. It's got
Blake, something that I wanted to bring up. We're kind of, our podcast, hopefully we are able to kind of NFT this. We're like Beeple. We're going to bring you guys an episode every single day.
For 5,000 days.
Yeah, for 5,000 days, maybe we NFT it. But I'd love to hear, I'm curious, what's been going on? What's up? What's Project 70? Like, what's been going on? Can you give us the rundown on it if Luca Nation doesn't know?
Of course. So last year, Topps did a project called Topps Project 2020, where they had 20 artists, each reimagining 20 iconic baseball cards. And in that case, Topps gave us artists the cards, the players, exactly what we were supposed to do. That project was a massive success last year. And so they kind of took that concept and made some tweaks and adjustments and launched Project 70. And Project 70 is celebrating Topps having the MLB license for 70 years. They got that in 1951. And so they're tying in the number 51 because it was 1951 and the number 70 because it's been 70 years kind of throughout the project. So it's 51 artists, again, each creating 20 cards. This time around, we actually get to choose our own players. We get to choose our own reference images of the players. And then we get to choose kind of our inspiration for the card design, looking at Topps designs over the last 70 years, specifically their flagship product. And so, it's super fun. I've got my next card is Buster Posey. I did that I think that one was 1975, Buster Posey. And that comes out on Monday, which is, April 12th. And so that's one, the Topps project definitely keeps me busy. It's awesome. I've really embraced the collector community, started collecting again myself, always putting out a lot of content also on YouTube and in various platforms. However, in addition to the Topps thing that's different this year is the NFT space has really, it's been making waves and it's a really hot topic. And so I have some very exciting NFT projects I'm working on separately from the Topps project. And one of them actually I can finally talk about is a project with Damian Lillard, which launches also on Monday, April 12th. So that's going to be a busy day, man. I have a new Topps card coming out and I've done a handful of NFTs just individually and I've seen some pretty moderate success selling those. But this will be the first one, like collaboration directly with an athlete that like we think it's going to be big. So that's exciting.
Before I unleash the beast, and Cage he's jumping through the phone. If you could see me, like he couldn't hold that closer to his face.
No, I want to talk about the dollar. I want to talk about the day. Come on,
we're recording this over the week. We're recording this over the weekend. Blake, where can people go to find these? If they want to support, because we're going to release this episode Monday. We're recording this over the weekend.
Yep.
Both of these projects launch Monday. Where can people go to support?
Sure. So the Topps card is going to launch on Topps.com. Buster Posey. It'll launch at about 12, like noon Eastern time on Monday, and I think it's actually at 2 p.m. Pacific. So that's 5 p.m. Eastern is when the Dame Lillard drops, and that's going to be on the platform called OpenSea, OpenSea.com. We hope, like, if you just go to the OpenSea homepage, you should see links for it. Like, we're pretty optimistic, I guess, about like getting like good placement. But if the actual like link for like the collection, the NFTs, that's going to be like this really long string. And the best place, if you don't see it on the homepage, is just go to my website, blake.art, and I'm going to have a link that'll be directly to both of those things. So yeah, blake.art probably the best place.
So when you're listening to this, guys, those will be live. You can get on Topps and buy that Buster Posey, and you can get the Dame collaboration with Blake. Dame so I mean, listen, we've had crazy coins for Susan B. Anthony for a little while, which got confused with a quarter, and then they made a golden Sacagawea, and now we're gonna have. I mean, what better than to put Dame's face on a dollar coin?
Dame dollar
coin. I love it. Let's go. I mean, how do you beat that? Let's go. But I'm sure it's gonna be more elaborate than that, Blake.
It's gonna be cool. I'm excited about it.
Well, are we allowed to stick with NFTs? Are we allowed to stick with that for 2 seconds?
Sure.
Because that's been the topic du jour, right? So you might not even be aware of this, right? Because there's just so many different things that are out there, from NBA Top Shot to Zed horses to you name it. This week, somebody introduced me to something called BitClout, all right? And it's like, it's like a Twitter/crypto combined thing. And I actually purchased a piece of a Blake Jamieson coin. I'm a holder of Blake. Do you even know? Are you even on this? Do you claim that account? Because your coin's worth a couple $100.
Yeah. No, and I gave out, depending on when you bought it, I gave out free NFTs to go for all people that own at least one Blake coin on BitClout.
So as an artist, right?
It's a fun platform. Like, I don't know. I think like as a concept, investing in creators and kind of in their success is a really interesting model. But right now, you can only put money in, you can't take money out. And there's quite a few issues where, like, I try to post and it's like says, oh, we're too busy right now, try again later.
Yep.
And also, like, the user experience, when somebody signs up and actually wants to like claim their profile and set up their name, they have to like deposit even like even like 50 cents of Bitcoin, just to like, you have to pay like a penny or two to like sign up, set your profile picture and stuff. And like, I think from a user experience, the first time somebody comes to a new site and it's immediately like, okay, pay us.
Yep.
It's a little bit like jarring. So I would like to see some changes, but as a concept, I think it's amazing. And I've been buying and selling people's coins, and putting fun content on there and kind of trying to build community there too. So I'm interested in it for sure.
I'll take it a couple ways. Number one, because we don't have to talk about that platform per se. I'm not getting anything from them, so we don't have to plug them up. But
I love them. And like,
you're 100% right though about the entry into, like, I'm an old man here, so I still don't. I bought my first Bitcoin recently, but it's in like a wallet that I can't even like transfer yet. So I had to have my handsome co-host here. I had to have him you talk about just to like claim an account, like for me to have my account, he's the one who funded. He's the mastermind behind Cage Coins. Nice. So but it's fun, and I did the same thing.
I'm the booster behind Cage. I'm the Buddy Garrity. I'm the Buddy Garrity for Cage.
He's the angel investor. But I mean, did the same thing. I'm not an artist, but I mean, last week, a couple people owned the coin, and I gave them NFTs. I gave them like Top Shots. So here you go. It's like, thank you for supporting, and you got the stuff. And now there's more, and I'll do it again. But it's a cool question, leader, because it doesn't have to be just about BitClout, but you're obviously doing it. But with the NFTs, I mean, the people that I feel will benefit the most out of this, and you tell me what you think, are artists, musicians, artists. I mean, it's all in the same bucket, but allowing them to have this, non-intermediary, frictionless world that's created, that they can basically reward their fans, reward their supporters. People can show their support for you, and you have that direct interaction with them, whether it's BitCloud or any other way. And then also just NFTs itself, if you're creating your own, it's a way for you to monetize it, a way for you to, give VIP treatment, access, you name it, to people who want it directly from you. I mean, this conversation is something we weren't having 2 years ago, 6 months ago, even, you know what I mean? But now this has like been the world of NFTs. Has it kind of changed, your outlook on things? Obviously you're dropping one. So talk to me about it.
Yeah, man. It definitely benefits artists. It also, I think, is going to change a lot of deal structures with athletes, because now they're not beholden to the leagues as much and can kind of capitalize on their own intellectual property. And like, it is a new scene. So like, even in that sense, like, I think there's no precedent yet on like a team coming after a player or a company like Nike coming after me if I release an NFT that has like a Nike swoosh on a jersey or something. I think that's going to happen too. We're going to see that in like the next 12 months or something, where there'll be some type of lawsuit and it'll be setting precedent, and then that'll kind of dictate, who it impacts more and in what ways. So like that, I'm really curious to see kind of how that precedent gets set.
It's amazing, those damn lawyers, right? Anything that's fun and there's money to be made, the lawyers got to ruin it. But I mean, listen, it's so
look, I think it's fine. Like I don't mind. Like, I want everybody to get their due. So, if I'm using somebody else's thing, like, I want to make sure that they're paid.
Yep.
But it's that line in the sand has to be drawn somewhere, just so that like we all know where that exists. And then like I'll be playing on the legal side of that line. Right. But yeah, I mean, it's been game changing, and I didn't expect coming into 2021 that this would be such a big part of my plan and my business. I thought that Topps was going to be the main thing, and then I'd have some side hustles. And now, NFTs is sharing my attention just as much as Topps is. And that's exciting to have two really big kind of opportunities in front of me. I've seen, I'm really trying to I'm the type of person that I will do a lot of research and read and like try and learn that way, watch videos, but I also just really learn by doing. And so I've been just minting individual NFTs of my kind of my archive of art and testing out all different platforms. I've seen a lot of success selling on Super Rare. Sold my most expensive single piece on OpenSea. Just sold 2 pieces yesterday on Foundation, which I'm excited about because that's a new platform I just got like kind of accepted to. Mm-hmm. And I did a free NFT on Rarible and gave those out to my email list subscribers. And that was like, it's a little confusing with BitClout because I called the NFT a Blake coin, but on BitClout it's also like a Blake coin. But yeah, man, I'm getting my hands dirty, and I was just trying to like figure out the scene so that when I have like this Dame Lillard launch on Monday, I know a little bit more of what's going on and what to expect and like what's possible.
You know what I love, because this is like chapter 2 of our fireside chat with Blake, right? So last year we had you right in the thick of the Project 2020, and that was life changing. You know what I mean? And if you went back a year before, you were doing free artwork, putting it up in somebody's office, and then all of a sudden the dominoes fell and you found Topps 2020. And if you look back from 19 into 20, you're like, I couldn't have pictured myself doing this top stuff. Now, when we talked a couple months ago, you couldn't picture that 2021 would be this new world. Who knows what the hell 2022 is going to be like? And it's a crazy thing. It really is. But it's funny. I'm going to pivot. A couple things that we talked about last time, they ring true, and I'm going to get to one, before we leave 100%. But you just mentioned you did some stuff for free. And one of the things that stuck with me, and I want to see if you're still doing it, was you talked about your work, right? And you talked about when you do your work. And this is for anybody in Luca Nation who's a creator, somebody who's looking to do a podcast, somebody who's looking to do anything on Instagram, somebody who's going to be an artist, anybody out there who's got designs on some alternate way of putting food on the table for themselves and their families, right? Blake said in episode 35, go back and listen to it, and I want to see if it's the same. When you work, you're working for full price or you're working for free. Not doing any discount work because of the valuation that people are going to do on it. So it's funny because I had that in my brain from that episode, and here you are saying, hey, I sold these things, the most I ever sold. And the next sentence, you're like, I did this for free, right? Because of the valuation of it, right? So obviously you're still living by that credo. Yeah,
man, awesome. That's how I've been rolling for a while. I mean, it's been years of that's the strategy.
So, I mean, I love that too, because I mean, we have we have people who are volunteering to work with us now. I mean, that's a change in what we're doing. You know what I mean? And it's a really cool thing, right? And that's a different world than what I grew up in. Nobody worked for free. It's like, pay me. I don't care if it's $4 an hour. I got to get paid, but you never made it. Now you're a $4 an hour employee who's never going to actually advance from that. Whereas if you're doing it, you're working for free, you're getting that experience. You're actually, you're getting a seat at that table, and you're getting into something that you otherwise would not have gotten. So, I mean, that stuck with me. And you know what else stuck with me? I'll just jump right into it. This way I don't forget. All right. And I probably have said this 100 times since you were on, and I give you credit for it every time. You might be the most mentioned guest, maybe.
Nice.
Polarizing. I say this to Andrew all the time because, I have become a pretty polarizing figure in this podcast. People don't like some of the things I say. Usually it has to do with LeBron James. But one of the things we talked about, and I wasn't shitting on it, but it was like Keith Shore's artwork, right? And you're like, I love it. The Mariano, the Griffey, all these things, right? And you're like, look, you tried at a while to be, down the middle, vanilla, right? And it was like, all right, you can do art like that, but that's not how an artist is going to be a good artist. You have to be polarizing. You can't be doing something that everyone's going to love. If I'm getting not hate mail, but if I'm getting people who say this is crap, I'm doing something right. Because you don't want that down the middle. You want both sides of it. Still the same, or are you trying to be a little more mainstream, Dame Dollar-y?
I mean, I think everything I do is still polarizing. I mean, it's definitely, I'm like taking calculated risks with that. And especially like, you think about working with like a talent like Dame, he's got a big reputation at stake too. And like, I want to like honor that and like put my best art forward. So I think, and people see with the Dame stuff, it's been in the works for like 6 weeks or so with the art. And one of the things that I was looking at is like what's possible with NFTs and what are some of the successful launches doing. And so, I looked closely at what Mahomes did. And I think anybody that sees the Dame Lillard stuff on Monday will recognize like inspiration kind of taken from what they did, as well as some other projects. And so I think like in that sense, I played it safer maybe than I usually would with Dame, but that's just because like I wanted to give them what they were expecting, and I got to make sure that the Dame, that they're happy with it. So I tried to deliver a product that was safe to achieve that, which we did. So yeah, I mean, but in general, like I'm a very risk tolerant person, and especially with like experimental art stuff, like might as well try something crazy, and like, if it starts a conversation, then that's great.
I guess that begs the question, what makes for a successful NFT drop?
That's also a moving target. I was looking at successful NFT drops as kind of a combination of like visibility and sales. So, we think about like Beeple being the absolute max of that, right? He got the most visibility, the most sales. That's amazing. If you look at like the Mahomes drop, which I thought was interesting, the lowest possible NFT you could buy was $2,500, and that was the base level one. Now they did, I think it was $3.6 million. To me, that's a significant, very, very solid, healthy number. If we did that, I would be like flipping out and very, very happy. That would be a huge success. But it's also interesting that like they did that with only 500 collectors. Only 500 people could participate because of the entry level price. So we're trying to do, we're thinking of, okay, well, we can look at it of like, how many collectors do we get? And like, how can we have more collectors than collected Mahomes? Even if the total volume, like if the sales volume isn't as high, that's okay. But if we can get the art out to more people, that's like something that I'm considering a success metric. And then also for visibility, like, the NFT space is getting so crowded. And so like there's hundreds of projects dropping every day, and it's getting really like hard to stand out in that noise. And so like, I hope that the projects that I'm a part of are able to cut through that noise a little bit and get some like mainstream media coverage basically. And like with Dame attached to it, like, I think that's going to happen. So yeah, I mean, those are the things that I'm kind of measuring success against. But also like, if I do this Dame project and let's just say it doesn't do as much like sales value as I might be hoping in my head, it doesn't really matter because it's a really big like notch in my belt, and like it'll teach me a lot for the next project. And like working with Dame is just super cool. And like for me, like the art's totally all done, and it has been done for like over a month. So I'm just kind of like, okay. And like that one's different too, because there's a company called Grow Your Base. Shout out to Grow Your Base for bringing basically me and Dame together. They brought Dame to the table. They came to me with Dame already pretty much on board, and then brought Dame like my art, and like they put it all together. They're also managing the launch as far as like the technical part and the marketing part, which is I have mixed feelings about. Like I have a marketing background, so like I tend to like want to have my fingers in that, but I also love being an artist and just doing the art. So that was like out of our hands, like they're handling it. And so in that sense, like I'm measuring that one's success differently than the following project, which will be announced the next week. And that's also like, it's a Hall of Fame football player. You guys know who he, like, I mean, you don't know who he is, but you'll hear his name and you'll be like, that's awesome. Like he's a legend. And that project is different because my team is I have a tech team that's doing all the tech. Marketing we're going to do all the marketing. Like we're doing end-to-end complete full service. That's the one that I'm really like saying, okay, this is where we have more control. So like, that's what I'm going to be looking at of like, was this a success or not?
As a Bay Area guy, I have a feeling it's Jerry Rice. You don't have to, don't say yes or no, but that's just going to go, that's going to be my guess. And I want it to be on record. Cage says no. Cage says no.
Excellent guess. It is a good guess.
Blake, I'm curious, you're a Bay Area guy. Your family, I think if I remember correctly, that like, you guys are pretty close. You talk a lot. How do you explain NFTs to them? How do you explain what you're doing to them?
Slowly over time. And you know, what's funny is like now, like all my mom, dad, sister are like in it. And my sister works very closely with me. She manages all my inboxes and my calendar and like everything. And in fact, like this is the only thing that she hasn't scheduled in like months. Thank you, Andrew. AirPods in.
By the way, we need to know by the end of this show what Andy's doing back there. What is he drawing? What is he creating?
It looks like he's making some sort of stencils or templates.
Yeah, he's cutting a stencil. Yeah.
But Blake, maybe I could reword that question. How would you explain NFTs to them? Because a lot of our audience, they're not in NFTs all the time. They hear about it on the periphery.
Sure.
And I'm curious how you would explain these projects to them, like when they ask, what is it? What are you doing, Blake? What's an NFT?
Well, let's see what I can do. NFT stands for non-fungible token, which means that it is unique. Non-fungible means it cannot just simply be replaced with something else. If something's fungible, these two things are completely interchangeable. So we start there saying a non-fungible token is this thing that essentially has like a serial number that identifies it as completely unique. That information is stored on the blockchain, and I know this is going to get heady real fast, and people are eyes are going to roll back. But like this is how I would do it, right? So the NFTs are stored on what's called the blockchain, which is this. Think of it like the internet, like this giant network that is all like it's all connected and it's all public, like transactions happening on a public ledger. So that means that like if within this network, if I send you a thing, that could be an NFT or it could be money, that transaction is logged and publicly available for anyone in the internet to see if they know where to look. And the reason that that is important is because it provides this decentralized, extremely transparent network to pass digital things around. And so what we can do as artists now is we can take our art, it could be a still image, it could be a video, it could be anything, upload it to the internet, upload it to the blockchain essentially as an NFT, and you end up with this one-of-a-kind digital item that has a footprint that follows it out all around the internet, and that's always available and transparent. And the reason that that's so important is because if we think about baseball cards or basketball cards, or we think about art prints, like you don't know, like, okay, you have a LeBron James rookie card, let's just say, and PSA is a good example because then you have a PSA 10, then at least you have a pop count, but that pop count's always changing. And now like people, I've like really good slabs that like look like a slab, and then they print it out, and like it turns out you get a card, you buy a card and it has a serial number, and you look and you turn out like somebody else has that same serial number because it was a forgery. That can't happen on the blockchain. Everything has like proven scarcity and guaranteed authenticity. If you're doing it right and you know where to look, those things are like automatic, and everything is a PSA 10. It won't degrade over time. It's on the internet. You can't lose it if your house gets robbed. Although there's different like digital, I guess, like cyber thievery, right? But so there's a lot of advantages to like the collectible space, and like also like think about your favorite baseball cards or your favorite basketball cards or whatever. You probably have some on a shelf, and then you have some like in a drawer that are like your next favorite, and then you have some in a box, and those are like, you're probably not going to look at them again for a while, unless like you want to like go down memory lane, or you need to like raise some money and want to sell some cards. Like you're not going to look at them. With NFTs, I think like the future is like we're going to start seeing. We already have screens everywhere, but like we're going to see more and more screens, and we're going to start seeing applications where these screens, whether it's like an app on your iPhone or on your Samsung TV or whatever, where like you can set up like a gallery of the NFTs that you own to be on rotation. And we've seen that before with like digital picture frames where you put the SD card in and it does that. That's cool. That's like tip of the iceberg. But like if you had all your favorite cards digitally, and then you had like your screen in your man cave or whatever, like you could have a really cool presentation of these NFTs, and you could like be like changing the channel of like, I'm going to look at these cards, I'm going to put up all my my Giants cards because they're on tonight. So I'm going to like, it'll be like good juju, right? If I'll have my collection, all my Giants cards will be out with me. That's exciting. And then like when you go to like hotels, like you might walk into a hotel room and the hotel has like an app, and you can literally like push a button and it'll decorate the whole room with like your art that you own. And so like everywhere you go, you can just take your art collection. That's really exciting to me. And then the other thing that I think is like super cool and really not being talked about as much as I'd like to see yet is the unlockable content side of it, where the people who own this NFT, and let's just say it's an image, it's this JPEG. I see it all, like a lot of people, and I felt the same way at first of like, I don't understand, people are just buying a JPEG. Anybody can look at it. Well, that's true that anybody can look at it, but behind that, the person who owns it, there's opportunities to add anything you want for unlockable content. And that could be, it could be a special video showing you how I made the art. It could be, it could be a poem, a story. It could be, literally, like it could be anything. And
come
so,
join my meet and greet here, for my top 50, NFT holders for sure. Yeah, the utility of it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And like a practical application of that is like with Dame Lillard, some people who buy some of the higher tier NFTs will have different access to different things. And so it might be like courtside tickets to a playoff game and a meet and greet. It might be a FaceTime call with another one. It could be
Andrew wants to drop 16 bars with him. That's what he wants. He wants to rap with Dame.
We actually have we pitched that as an idea. We don't know if they're actually going to run with that as one of the things, but like we pitched the idea of the person who wins this auction gets to record 16 bars on a song with Dame. The person who wins this other auction gets to produce a song that Dame will make, so that like somebody could win both, and then they could like produce the track, lay their own beat on it. Like I said, like that honestly, that was a pretty like last minute idea we just thought of. And I don't think that actually is going to like make the cut to be in the thing, but I haven't seen the auctions go live, and we're still kind of, we'll see.
You know what I'm hearing? And I'm curious if you agree, and Kate, jump in here at any time as well. NFTs allow for the bond between a creator and his or her community to be strengthened. And I think that for the longest time, creators, artists, athletes have always wanted that, to be able to go direct to their community and build relationships. And that's the thing I'm most excited about. Isn't necessarily, I'm going to buy this NFT for $5,000 and sell it for $50 million in 20 years. It's for the creators and the artists to build really tight bonds with their community and let their community invest in their future success.
Yeah, I mean it's a great tool for building community. But again, that kind of just depends on how the person how the token creator uses it, because we are seeing a lot of people just selling an NFT to make some quick money and not thinking about the experience or like the long-term value of it. And I think that that's fine. Like honestly, I'm all for artists getting paid. I've done my fair share of NFTs that don't have unlockable content.
But Blake, that's going to play itself out, and that's actually going to hurt the creator's brand equity down the road. So they might profit a little bit on the front end, but the people that are stuck holding the bag will always remember that that creator sold me something that he or she didn't totally believe in, and they weren't invested in making this NFT special. And I think though it will help them in the short run, it could hurt them down the road with their brand equity.
I agree, but I don't think that the artists are necessarily like, I mean, look, it might them saying like, hey, let's get in on this, we can make quick money. That's fine. Like they might just not understand what they can do with it. And so what I think is going to happen is we're going to see, and we're already seeing, like the market's getting flooded with artists putting out their NFTs. They're all going to be these kind of basic NFTs, and some of them are going to sell. The ones, especially the artists that like have done a good job building community and building followers, those will sell. And I think that like collectively, artists are going to start to understand what's possible, and everybody's going to start stepping up their NFT game, where like every single NFT has all this extra utility. And hopefully when that happens, the artists who put out stuff early that didn't have so much utility say, hey, everyone, like the people that supported this early NFT, I'm going to give you guys something else that has, you know, these now new features that I know now are available. I hope that's what happens.
Blake, let me ask a question on this, because I'm an idiot, but I've really dove into the NFTs and the crypto stuff a lot this year. It's not something I ever thought I was going to be, but I heard you talking, and this is where I went. This is where my brain went. And there's nothing wrong with the mechanism of, what was the name of the company that brought you guys together? Because I'm going to have Andrew reach out to them after this episode. We'll give them another shout out. What is it? The one that brought you and Dame together?
Grow Your Base.
Grow Your Base. So we're going to meet Grow Your Base. They're going to push Cage Coin. We're going to have you draw up a nice little Cage Coin. It's going to be awesome. But Grow Your Base. But what was cool about that is you've able to, you know, for our audience now, talk about two different ways of doing it, right? So you have that Dame one where Grow Your Base is involved. And then you're going to have the NFL Hall of Famer on the following week, right? We're not going to name who it is, but it wasn't with a Grow Your Base. And there's nothing wrong with Grow Your Base, right? So here's the fun. It's the infrastructure of it, right? It's the building it out. There are artists, athletes, there are people. You know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of early music industry, right? There are people who are signed to labels. And who was it? Was when Jay-Z and Nas were having their rap battle, and Jay-Z said on it, he dropped, I know who I paid Fox Searchlight. Right? Remember, he said, "I know who has it, not Nas." He said, you know, and Jay-Z got his own record label, right? So, what you're doing, and maybe it's because you got paid from early NFTs and had that money, but what you're doing is you're actually building up that infrastructure in blake.art, and you're now going to be more than just an artist. You're going to have the tech, the marketing, all of the steps in the game to build your art into NFTs. And you know, it's amazing because we weren't talking about NFTs last year. So talk to me about that. If I'm right, then haven't you had to expand your business now into marketing, which you have a marketing background, and also building the tech behind the NFTs, you know, being able to soup to nuts, bring it out there. And is that what you see artists doing next? You know?
I don't think every artist needs to do it the way that I'm doing it. And in fact, I hope that they don't. I am doing, you know, soup to nuts, as you say, but I know, you know, my strengths and my weaknesses, and where I have weaknesses, I find what I think is like top tier talent, best at their craft, and I trust them and I pay them very well. And that goes for like everything in my business and my life. If I need something done and I want it done a particular way and I can't do it myself, I will find the best person to do it that I possibly can, whatever that costs.
By the way, there's another Blakeism, guys. Be polarizing. Do it for full price or do it for free. And if you can't do it, find the best person to do it and pay them well. I love it. I'm good. When we be back in 6 more months, I'll quote that.
Yeah. And so like, I mean, I think that like the fact that I do have a marketing background is why I'm looking at NFTs probably differently than a lot of artists. Cause I see the individual opportunity for myself and I'm going to jump on it when I can. But like, I'm thinking more of like bigger picture of like the possibility of the tech and what that's going to unlock for like future artists. And so even in these projects, even with that Hall of Famer project, I mean, I've looped in like a half a dozen artists on it that are all contributing. And I basically went to them and I said, hey, this is the athlete, this is the collab. It's a tight deadline, but here's the opportunity. I'm super transparent on how the funds are being split. All the artists were just splitting. Because I'm wearing a few hats, I have like slightly more than all the artists than the other artists, but like all the artists are getting paid the same. And it's just kind of like, if you want to be in this party, come on. And if you don't, then that's totally fine. But yeah, it's exciting. I mean, hopefully we're going to like change a bunch of lives, like in 2 weeks with some of these artists that are involved, and some of them like have incredible work. Like I said, I try to only work with the best people, but haven't necessarily gotten the recognition they deserve, and definitely haven't worked with like Hall of Fame talent that we're working with the project. So I'm excited to like kind of put those guys on and see where that takes them. So yeah, I mean, I don't think every artist needs to do the end-to-end thing, but I think that every artist should be thinking about finding the right people to do that part, or handle it, whether it's a grow your base or it's whatever I'm building, which might end up being some type of service or platform or tool. Like, you know, we don't know, and we're building it with that intention of like, let's not put a box around this yet. Let's just like do these projects and then see where that takes us.
So 2 questions, Andrew, and then I'll turn it over. So number 1, how does Mark McGuire listen to this and not use you for his NFT? Like, that's first question. I mean, clearly he's going to be listening. You know, he's going to be in it.
Well, yeah, I probably should hit him up, but yeah, I'm sure he would be. I'm sure we could do a project together.
Hell yeah! Come on, Mark. There is no other artist in the world who will do your NFT the right way compared to Blake. Let's go. So that's number 1. Number 2, more importantly, do you as an artist mind when someone who is maybe not an artist, maybe, you know, just an influencer or maybe some other type of cat, is trying to do art and pass it off as an NFT? You know, maybe doodles of like random animals or things like that.
Like Cage, the kind koi behind Blake's head.
Yeah, like the kind koi, or, you know, whatever it may be. Like, you know, do artists look at that and say, "What is this?" Or do you say, "Hey, to each his own"?
It depends. I don't think so. Like, I don't care. I think, I mean, man, if there's like, let the market decide, right? Put whatever.
It really is, right? It really is it.
It's not gonna if somebody chooses to like spend their money to buy that instead of like something that I made, who cares? Like, I don't know. I'm not like, I don't take that personally. I don't care. I think.
By the way, let the market decide. It's amazing, right? That is because, I mean, I don't know whether or not the market for NFTs and what we have going on now would have existed a year ago or 2 years ago. Like, I don't know if the world was ready for it. I don't know, you know, especially in the sports world, the art world. I mean, you know, I don't know what it was that opened up the floodgates. I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know, people being home. I don't know if it, you know, I honestly, Bitcoin, you know, increasing, Ethereum. I don't know what it is, but we are in such a different place now with people's, you know, acceptance of this than we were even 6 months or a year ago. It really is crazy. And you're right. Let the market decide. And that's a cool thing, right? Because, I don't know, following GameStop and all that craziness that went on there, the market's kind of changed, right? And people's view of the market's kind of changed. And this is more of like a power of the people. You know, you want direct access to your favorite influencer, your favorite artist, your favorite sports person. Go right ahead. And talk about mainstream, right? Did you see the Saturday Night Live NFT skit?
Sure.
I mean, that's how, you know, Andrew said, how would you explain it to your family? That's how I would. I would just play that. Say, here you go. Here's how you explain it. And then for bonus points, show them that they made an NFT out of that skit and sold it for like $300,000.
Yeah.
That's NFTs. And it's just, I mean, it really is nuts. And I don't even want to take you to straight NFTs. I mean, Andrew, if you got more questions about NFTs, great. I do want to talk to Blake about, you know, what his, you know, like a look back on Project 2020 and then maybe like a look forward on the project, you know, the top 70, if you have time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So talk to us just a real quick on like the Project 2020. I'll give you my, you know, synopsis of it. And then you tell me, obviously it was life-changing for you. Some of it is really cool art. And if you didn't listen to Blake, one of the cool things that was a takeaway from this is most people have seen Project 2020 in internet form on eBay. Mm-hmm. But one thing he said in episode 35 is totally true, and I did it myself. You got to hold the things in hand. They are art, right? It's different looking at it online and what it looks like. It's different when you actually hold the things in your hand. 2, and this is really what I want you to comment. It's look back on it for me, right? What are your thoughts on the project overall? I mean, it was one of the most talked about things in the world. I mean, you know, from a buying perspective and a selling perspective, a flipping perspective, a bubble, and then just it stopped, you know, and then just nobody wanted it anymore. Now, it's looked at really as kind of like a test case in bubbles, in our hobby at least. You know, whenever somebody says, "Oh, you know, that's not going to last," immediately the next sentence is, "It's the next Project 2020." Crazy, right? Do you even know that? I mean, have you?
No. I mean, I know there was a bubble, and I acknowledge that happened. It was a huge market correction, but Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everybody looks at it differently. I'm in different circles than you guys, but yeah, I mean, I have a very positive, you know, looking back at it all is just unbelievably beyond any expectations I had going into the year, both from like financial perspective, community building perspective, building relationships with other artists. That was probably the biggest benefit that I didn't see coming was those relationships with the artists, and like because those are still like thriving today, and some of those guys are working on NFT projects with me now, and like I'm staying with Gregory Siff when I go to LA next week. So it's like that's priceless. Whereas like the extra money that I made that I didn't think I was going to make, that was great, but like I spent it, you know, that's how it happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's also like it's interesting now, like because when I was in it, like before the bubble, it seemed like it was just going to go up and up and up, and that's like
Right.
that's what makes the bubble. But I was definitely on that train or rocket ship.
Well, you were buying your stuff back, right? You were buying them
Yeah, no,
yourself. You were.
yeah, and like I mean, dude, when the bubble crashed, like we had one month where we did like $28,000 of returns because I had like a very like I wasn't trying to get over on anyone. It's like people just, you know, were buying my cards to flip them, and then all of a sudden they couldn't, and so like people were just like, we want our money back, and I'm like, okay, that's fine.
So, do you take any lessons from that with the NFTs?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about like in a few interviews, like I talk about how I think that, and I actually think it's probably applicable to Project 2022, but like I know a bubble now, but I'm better at like identifying being inside of it and like seeing it happen around me. And like, I know that the NFT kind of the volume of new NFTs and this like hype and like the big sales numbers and stuff like that is going to correct. And, you know, the prices are going to come down, I think, to earth a little bit. I think that's going to affect different projects in different ways. There are certain projects like Beeple that is such an iconic thing that's like synonymous with NFTs. I don't think Beeple's work is going to go down, even if the average price for NFTs drops significantly. Right. And same with some other big projects, like the Patrick Mahomes project, I think was a very small amount of buyers, but I think it was well executed, and I think the art is cool. So like, I think that's going to hold value. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the people that are just putting out stuff for the cash grab, I think are going to get, they're not going to have the same possibility to like make money. Just like card people that were buying Project 2020 cards just to flip immediately as soon as they arrived, they're listed them on eBay. You know, that dried up. I think that same thing will happen, but I think of it more of a hype cycle than and I can't remember who. I wish I could credit the person, somebody on Twitter saying like this NFT thing isn't a bubble, it's a hype cycle. We're at peak cycle right now, like it's going to come down, but like we're on this upward trajectory for the industry overall, and like he believes that that's true, and the hype cycles as you go kind of like go like that. Yeah. I think it's like pretty spot on, and we will see some corrections, but like I also think and this is good for both Project 2020 and NFTs. I think that in 1, 5, and 10 years, both of those things will still be in conversations.
Oh, definitely. 100%. And I think you're right. I think how you deliver it and the utility that's in it. I mean, say what you want about somebody like Gronk, right? He did a sellout NFT also, but there were utility attached to it. Come hang out with him at a party on the beach. Yep. All right, someone's paying for that. You know, there's your one-on-one, add-on. You know, I mean, I think what you're going to see is like everything else, right? The cream will rise to the top. Like, you know, we're the best podcast out there, bar none.
Yep.
You know, we provide as much value as you can. The people who are with their NFTs, bro, you've talked about it. You know, the stuff hidden behind that 8-bit JPEG. You know, it's not just a CryptoPunk. It's a CryptoPunk that gives you access to something. You know what I mean? It's not just Blake's art. It's Blake's art. You know, and if you happen to be one of the 50 holders of this particular piece of art, you get to do this, and this, and maybe have a Zoom with Blake to talk about his inspiration about those 50 particular, whatever it may be. You know, those are the ones that will survive. The cash grab ones that are just, we're putting it out there and we're taking money we can, those won't. So, I mean, I love
Oh, just thinking about like the utility. I mean, Gronk did a great job with that. I would love to see more layers. And like, I just did one where I have 2 future utilities that are based on certain dates. So it's like whoever owns this token on this date gets this thing. And then like a month later, whoever owns the token gets something else. And so my hope is that the first person cashes in. And like what that is like the first person gets a print, a 1-of-1 signed print of the artwork. And then the person who holds it later gets the actual original artwork. I'll mail it to them. So like, it would be interesting if Gronk said the owner of this token gets a free ticket to Gronk Beach every year because he does the party every year, right? And then it's like every time before Gronk Beach starts, there's a market for that coin again, and there's hype in it. If it's like the one time you get the one ticket, that's totally cool, and I think they're pushing boundaries. That's great, but like as soon as that happens, what's that NFT worth now? Not very much.
By the way, love that, Blake. For anybody who's a Top Shot dev or a fan of Top Shot who wants to shoot them a message about a great idea, that's it. You know, what a great idea for preventing buying an NFT just for flipping it, or buying a coin just to flip it, right? You know, if a holder is able to get something on a repeat basis or at a trigger date for holding it, then they have to make a decision, sort of like a stock option, right? Yeah. You're going to hold that option on this date. You know, is the earnings going to go up? Or is it going to be worth this tomorrow when you hold it? You know, when the dividend, X dividend date, right? Dividend, sort of like that, right? Sort of like,
absolutely right. We've talked about this a few times. All of these new marketplaces, they need to find a balance between collectors and flippers. Both are necessary to every marketplace, but it's really, really important to incentivize both. A dividend incentivizes Warren Buffett to just have your money in Coca-Cola and get your 2, 3, 4% every year. But at the same time, there's these day traders that trade and try to take profit every day. Every single industry that we're seeing needs to find the balance between collecting and flipping and create incentives to collect. And that's super important. And I would like Luca Nation to go back and listen if they have any curiosity. It's such an interesting, important moment right there.
So for the YouTube people, Blake, I would be remiss if I didn't ask this as an artist. As an artist, what do you think of those weird things behind Andrew's head? Like they're kind of like sun mirror kind of things. Like what do you think? Like they like
the art in the studio.
Yeah, like these weird little mirror-y things that he's got going on back there. What do you think of those?
Those are lights.
Those are lights?
Yeah, those are work lights.
All right. Nice. Yeah. I like it. All right, so he doesn't mind them. To me, it's sort of like...
I don't know why you added the word weird. They're just basic mirrors. They're just a nice wall. I have no idea what's so...
Those. Sorry, I thought you were... Sorry, I'm thinking Andrew like this Andrew. So this right here, this is the light.
Right? Goldberg. No, Goldberg. These things. These weird little... So
I'm scared to come in.
I think
Kate, cool. You and I have never met, but I'm assuming one time you'll invite me over for dinner or something. I'm already worried. Never. I'm worried about what your house looks like. Whoever designed that. If you think these are weird, what do you just have like Dr. Seuss and like Disney pictures all over your house?
I decided to do that in the art room. So yes, Dr. Seuss all over the place. Because you know what? It's part of this episode, right? So things get canceled. Right, things get canceled. Right, the artist get canceled, NFT gets canceled, Dr. Seuss gets canceled. I mean, I tie it all together like a Seinfeld episode, Andrew. It's all tied together. That's it, man. It's like a circle of life.
I'm in Mexico, so it would be Medico Seuss would be behind me.
I love it. That's funny stuff. All right, Blake. So besides the 2 projects that are coming out in the next 2 weeks, what do we got on the horizon? You got some additional project. The 1951 tributes, the 70s stuff. I've noticed everyone's done a Mickey Mantle now that Top's got the rights back to that. You're going to be doing a Mantle? You got anything crazy lined up with a Mickey Mantle?
Nothing crazy lined up, but I if you get the chance to make a Mickey Mantle card, I think you got to take it. So I'm going to take it and I'll do it. I'm probably going to swap. I don't know who I'm going to swap out. So Project 70 also kind of gotten overloaded because we all got to pick our own players and we didn't get to see which players other artists picked. And so like a lot of Yankees and Dodgers were picked because they also picked a lot of LA and New York artists because those are hubs, right, for where the artists are. So I am now kind of reevaluating my player selections that are remaining and trying to like trim some Dodgers and trim some Yankees to add some other smaller market teams as well as Mickey Mantle. So I'm probably going to end up cutting Mookie, which sucks because I already painted it and it's done and it looks dope. But
NFT special release.
What's that?
NFT and special release.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm excited. Project 70 like keeps me. It's fun now. You know, baseball started too. I'm in a fantasy baseball league. I'm terrible at fantasy baseball, but like last I checked, I was doing okay so far, so that's a plus. Yeah, man, I'm so excited for the NFT stuff and to see where the space goes. You know, we have several projects lined up, and then we have like a lot of projects kind of that could drop. You know, we're talking to a lot of athletes, and part of it is like I've been preparing for this. I've been painting athletes for the last 3 years, and I've worked with 400 different guys. So now the NFTs are blowing up, and they see, you know, me like being really like kind of loud in the space, like all the time. Agents, players, managers are hitting me up, be like, let's do a project. And so now I'm in this really cool position where like I'm turning down projects that I would have, you know, a year or 6 months ago I would have like killed to do. And usually when I turn them down, I'm like referring them to I'm still keeping them in the family. I want to make sure it gets done and somebody's really excited to do it. But I'm in a really cool position where I can like really pick and choose the athletes that I want to collaborate with.
That's why Andy perked up in the background. He heard, well, we got the NFT business we're doing. We're doing this Hall of Fame one with a stable of artists that we use. We got a new wing of Jamieson artwork. It's going to be the NFT brand where if you know an artist comes to you, you can still run one of these other artists. They'll do it for you under the Blake Jamieson NFT umbrella. Come on, man. That's it. You got to own the record company, not just be one of the artists.
Yeah, maybe.
So I got a question. Besides McGuire, you can't cop out with McGuire, right? And it can't be somebody who already approached you. Give me the dream NFT collaboration for you. Which athlete? Who is it? Because a lot of them listen. A lot of them listen to this podcast. You know, you want to do a dream one with
I'll tell you this.
LeBron? He's listening.
This is going to be a little bit of a spoiler, but I would love to work with Jerry Rice, and I'm not yet.
Oh, okay.
But the person that I'm working with is, in that conversation when Jerry Rice is usually mentioned, and knows Jerry. So hopefully I can get an introduction and make that happen.
So he's talking about Joe Montana, one of America's greatest athletes. One of our actors, Joe Montana.
Another receiver.
No, it's another receiver. Oh, and he's talked about with Jerry Rice. Woo!
Let the guy live, Cage. We're going to find out in a few weeks.
Yeah, you'll find out soon. I'll tell you guys after we stop recording and streaming.
Well, I'll guess it because it can't be too many, but he's already a Hall of Famer. Already a Hall of Famer. I talked about in Jerry Rice.
I feel like I don't know if I can give you anything anymore, but yeah.
No, there's no more hints because the only people mentioned in Jerry Rice world are like Larry Fitzgerald, and he's not a Hall of Famer yet. So it can't be Larry.
Cage, you're going to embarrass yourself with your football history.
Larry.
Steve Largent. But, Steve.
Let's come back to topic. When you got a chance to work with Dame, I know LeBron has a huge platform, but I'll tell you, like, just following Dame from a distance, I'm not sure there's another NBA player with a community of fans that as passionate as Dame's community. And Dame does a really good job. I've never seen an athlete that interacts with his community on such a candid, authentic way. I think this NFT is going to be so successful because Dame, he's NBA, he's Hulu, he's rap. He does those flash or like 4-bar Fridays on his Instagram. Dame's his fans are loyal. I think this NFT drop is going to go really, really, really well for you guys. I
think so too, man. I'm very, very excited about it, and honored to be involved and have that be my first collab dropping is it's a big way to introduce myself to the collab scene.
And Buster, when I lived in the Bay Area in 2013-14, Buster was that. The Giants were World Series champions. Buster's a little bit more shy though, right? Like he's not a big self-promoter.
Well, Buster is for the Project 70 stuff, which is not NFT stuff. But yeah, I think like I'm a big Buster fan, and that's actually right around the time that I moved back to California and started painting full time is when they were winning every even year. And yeah, just that's when I really started to follow and really like Buster. And also I think it's partially because when I was a kid, when I thought I wanted to play baseball, I wanted to be a catcher, and I had a catcher's mitt, and catchers were always my favorite players. And so then I got ADD. I had ADD the whole time, but I couldn't handle baseball because it was too slow for me, and I went and played other sports and whatever.
Cage is a catcher currently. Let's wrap with this.
Looking for a pitcher. Manty Moss.
One last time, let's wrap with this. Blake, where can people find out about both of the drops? Our Luca Nation community is growing. They want to support. I'm really confident that our community will support as much as anyone. Where can they find more information?
Tops for the Project 70, and OpenSeas is going to be the main one. OpenSeas for the NFT. But if you can't find it on OpenSeas, you got to go to Blake's website, and there'll be a link on there. But people are on OpenSeas. I'm on OpenSeas. We'll find it on OpenSeas, Blake.
Yeah,
I'm buying one, so you guys are racing me.
Yeah. So that's right. Blake.art is my website, and Blake Jamieson on Twitter I'm very active and reply to people, and I'll be posting everything there. So any of those places should be pretty easy to find.
That's awesome. We got it on the bottom here for you.
No, get rid of the .com. Get rid of the
just Blake.art, no .com.
Yes, Blake.art. Yeah. That's what I have on my look right there.
Right, it's right there. You got a little Blake.art. I like it. Blake.art.
Yeah.
Man, so this is a new thing. The .crypto, .art,
That's right.
.cage. There's all these cool websites that are out there.
Yeah.
I like it.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, Blake, we love having you on, man. And I'm telling you, I mean, I can't believe how long it's been and how not long it's been, and yet 200 and something episodes, deep into this, and the world seems to have changed. Or it's 6 months, 7 months, but yet we're talking about something completely different. And we would love to have you back at the end of the year, talk about some of the collaborations you did. I'm guessing Randy Moss. You don't have to say yes or no. But that's what it is. Another great guest. God damn it. This is going to haunt me. But yeah, we love having you on, man.
It should be kind of easy if you just look at top 5 lists. He's on all of them.
I can't believe you haven't guessed it. I already know he played for the 49ers. I'll tell you after this, Cage. Don't worry about it. Blake,
played for the 49ers as a receiver?
Yes,
as a top 5 receiver? He played for the 49ers?
He had an amazing catch. He came across the middle. He got cracked. He held onto the ball. Don't worry about it.
I don't. Is it David Tyree?
Stop guessing names.
Is it Odell Beckham Jr.?
He then played for the Eagles, dummy. Tell Andy, please. Thank you.
I have no clue. I'm just.
Please tell Andy. Thank you.
We're not supposed to be saying it. He's got a week for the drop.
It's okay. You'll never figure it out anyways.
If we were playing Otter Quarter Page, you could not be.
Oh, I'm terrible at that. Hide and seek, forget it.
Andrew, you got it. You know who.
Thank you guys. We really, really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Blake.